Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle, and if you're new here, I am a full-time Poshmark reseller. This is Leo. He often joins me. If you want to find me over on Instagram or on Poshmark, I am Mish Market everywhere. Today, we're going to do a little Q&A. I actually filmed this once already, and Leo, can you get down, please? Thank you. He's still here. I filmed this once already, but the audio was just awful, so they're not folded anymore, but I think it's fine. So let's just jump into it. What are questions to ask a CPA for new resellers? Good question. All the questions that I have for my CPA are very specific to my situation, like the fact that I lived in New Jersey for part of the year, and then now I live in Pennsylvania, and a bunch of other tax-related questions. So I'm not sure if there's anything I would generally ask. I would only really ask questions that are specific to your situation. How do you decide what your sourcing budget will be? Does it fluctuate each month? So early on, I came up with an average of how many pieces I could purchase and how much money I could make with X dollars, so just to know how far my money would go based on my regular sourcing habits. And now I just follow a formula in a spreadsheet that my boyfriend very kindly put together, and that's it. I followed the spreadsheet. Yeah, I don't know what I'll get back to you, I guess. I remember there's an exact formula that we did to figure it out, but it does fluctuate as I'm growing. Right now, as I'm trying to get to more active listings, I'm spending more money, but generally I spend about the same, and then once I reach a certain goal, I'll spend a little bit more. What state are you located in? Oh, I'm in Pennsylvania, so I'm in Philadelphia. If you didn't know, I just moved. What's your favorite movie? Ooh, this one's really good. I really love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's my favorite movie ever. The original with Gene Wilder. How did you figure out your process from thrift to sale? This is also a good question. I pretty much just trial and error. That's really it. I just started doing things, and then when I got really frustrated with how slow it was going, or if I didn't like it, I changed it and I tried something else, and that's it. Dream job. Ooh. I definitely got this question more than once, and this is pretty much it. This is kind of my dream job now. I'm really interested in all creative things. I like being able to flex those muscles. I like working on a team, so the only downside to my current job being a business owner is not having a team necessarily right now, but I know that'll change over time. Do you have any unrelated posh hobbies? Do you take time to do things that are not work? No. I used to have a lot of hobbies. I did, but I spend most of my time working, and I enjoy it. Okay, so things I really am into, like I'm really into true crime, so I listen to a lot of podcasts because it's something I can listen to and do while I'm working and doing this. And I really, when I can get to doing it, I like going camping and hiking, traveling. Obviously, traveling takes a little bit more money, so you have to save up for stuff like that, but my boyfriend and I have been to Asia twice. We've been to a few different countries, and the next trip, if we can swing it, maybe next year we're gonna do Peru, but we'll see. Does having a large following on social boost sales? The short answer is yes and no, because if you're using your following to make sales and you have a very sales-driven account, then yes. But personally, I've only made a handful of sales off of Instagram, but nonetheless, I have made sales. So it's helpful, but a lot of the sales that I was making, I made early on when I didn't have that large of a following. I was just, selling mystery boxes to people who followed, or I've made a couple of like Instagram sales when I'll post something before it goes to Poshmark, but yeah, it just depends on how you're using your account, really. I think anyone can make Instagram sales or can make sales through social at any point. Where do you see your business in 3 years? Good question also. I have a lot of goals that I've set for myself, and I think it's hard to say like where specifically you'll be, because sometimes you try something and you think that's actually not the direction I want to take it in. But I definitely see this growing outside of my apartment, outside of my house. I want to have an office space or a warehouse with a team of employees working on this. I want to get really heavy into content creation and get off of Poshmark and off of these third-party platforms and selling on my own for myself. I know I'll definitely have that in 3 years, but you never know where life takes you, and it might be more than that. It might grow beyond that, but that's definitely where I see it going. What did you do before reselling? This is funny because I don't get asked this a lot, but I used to work at an art gallery full-time, and I worked in New York City, and that's what I did. Whiz or no whiz? For anyone who's ever had a cheesesteak, the answer is whiz. I really enjoy what I'm doing now. I think if I could have any job in the world, I'm really interested in a few things. Maybe like being an industrial designer, doing like really cool installations and projects, or like the creative director for a really large company, but I feel like I'm kind of working on that now, so I don't know. That's what I would do. Are you originally from the East Coast? Do you like living in Philly? Yes, I'm originally from New Jersey, and yeah, I'm from New Jersey and I like Philly. It's just different, you know, like sourcing is different, like the area is different, the people are different, the food's different, everything is. And even though it's only 2 hours away from where I used to live, it's still not quite the same, but it's still cool. I like it. What are you most excited for as you approach your 2nd year reselling full-time? Okay, the last time I answered this question, I also felt the same like pause, because I'm excited for a lot of things, but the number one thing I'm excited for, and this is maybe, I don't know, a little backwards, but the number one thing I'm excited for is like at the end of year 2, being able to look back and see all of the progress that I've made, because I'm really pushing towards I have a very specific goal in mind for where I want to take things, and I really want to be able to see the progress looking back, because I love those moments. I love being able to like sit and like be like, oh, you remember when blah blah blah. Like I love doing that and like just reminiscing. I'm definitely gonna be like that little old lady, the grandma, who's like to my kids like, oh, I remember when you were so small, or like, I don't know, I like to reminisce in that way. So if I can reach all of the goals that I've set, then hopefully by the end of next year I will have an office space or a warehouse space. But yeah, fingers crossed, because I'm pretty sure there's a study or something out there that says when you speak your goals out loud that they don't come true, or they're less likely to come true. So we'll see. This question's the best. Where did your obsession with Crocs come from? Okay, so I'm just gonna be clear right now. I'm not necessarily obsessed with Crocs, even though I'm totally wearing them right now. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know I like Crocs. It's just that I always thought they were ugly, and they are, but also they're so comfortable. And I used to post a lot of my like outfit of the day, but I would be working from home, and so like I would have like a full outfit but with my Crocs. And then so I got a couple of like my friends who would tease me saying like, why are you wearing that with Crocs? Like, oh my god, Crocs are so ugly. And I'm like, hey, don't hate on the Crocs. Like, I found these at the bins, and they were super lightweight, and I can clean them so easily and wear them around the house so comfortably, with socks, without socks. Like, they're great. I love Crocs. So I'm a believer in the Crocs. Croc Nation forever. What was your aha moment that turned selling one thing into this? Okay, so this kind of gets into like my background or my story. It was literally a day and night decision. I had always been selling on like Poshmark and on other apps like Vinted, and fashion was always sort of like at the forefront for me, and I always really liked thrifting. But yeah, even though I knew reselling was a thing, I didn't really consider it like as a real possibility. And I was getting really frustrated with my position at work, and things were getting really tense, and I was actually working on coding and programming, and because that was taking up so much of my time, I wanted to take more time to be able to do that, but I couldn't with my work schedule and with all of the commitments I had at my full-time job. So my boyfriend literally just suggested one day, like, hey, I know you're working on learning to code, and I know you're working on all of these things, but you know, you're clearly frustrated, and why don't you just sell on Poshmark full-time? Like, you know that there are other people who do it, you can do it, and then you can spend as much time as you want coding and learning to do that. So it was really supposed to be like a tool to take me from one job to the next, or to be able to like build something of my own, but in code form. And then it just turned into something overnight. We just kind of decided, or I decided, that that was what I was going to do. I was going to work my butt off to be able to get out of my job, use reselling as sort of the financial crutch that I could use to be able to continue coding. And anyway, it's turned into something way different at this point. Do you ever miss your old job? No. I mean, the thing that I miss about my old job was, number one, working with people. I love the team that I worked with. They were really great. It's just, you know, like, working in the art world in New York City can be high pressure and high intensity for unequal compensation, and there's just, yeah, it's just, being in the art world can be tense, and I did enjoy it. I really miss like working with the artists and being around art all day. Like, that was always so much fun for me, and I love that. But yeah, I don't really miss the job itself. How did you and when did you start reselling? I kind of answered this already, I think. I've been reselling items on Poshmark and off since I was in my teenage years, and I really seriously started on Poshmark last June, so June of 2018. How has reselling changed your life? Whoa, this question is intense. I guess I'm like thinking really hard, but I think the main thing is that it's forced me to commit to, because I've taken this on as a full-time job, it's a business now. I've taken this on as a business. It's forced me to really focus on things that, and traits of my own and characteristics of my own, that I don't think I would have worked on had I not had, you know, this business that I needed to manage. For example, if I was still working for someone else, I would probably still have a lot of like my procrastination tendencies. I wouldn't be as focused as I am now. I think being a business owner and going full time just puts a spotlight on all of the flaws and all of the things that you've avoided. So it's changed my life in the sense that it's changed me. Being a business owner has changed me. So I think that's the number one thing. But also it's giving me the freedom to be able to do a job I love, to be able to start to build financial freedom for myself, which if you would have told 10-year-old me that I would be doing this right now, I don't know if I would believe you. I would think it's great, but I don't know if I would have believed you. Tell us more about Leo. Okay, well, Leo is sleeping right now. He actually looks really cute. I don't know if you can tell, actually. I rearranged my office, so I have the camera like on a tripod in front of me, but my desk is closer to the window where I used to film. And anyway, I'll do an office tour when it's a little bit cleaner. I'm working on photos. I digress. Leo is a 4-year-old Australian Shepherd mix. We got the Wisdom DNA panel. He has his own Instagram, which is Leo in Philly. I got him from a shelter near my hometown. He's really sweet, very sensitive, very easily scared. He's 50 pounds of absolute mush, and don't approach him in the dark at night because he'll start barking at you. Yeah, my phone is 50% Poshmark photos, 50% pictures of Leo. What is your daily work schedule like? Ooh, I have a day in the life video. I don't know if this actually includes it now that I think about it, but it hasn't really changed much. My day-to-day, I'll wake up around 7, 8 o'clock. I go to bed at midnight-ish, 1 a.m.-ish, depends, it fluctuates. And I normally start working around 9. The first thing I do in the morning is walk Leo, make coffee, drink water. I haven't been eating breakfast first thing. I'll just drink water and then coffee. And then I start work. I always start the day with sending offers, and then the in-between between that and the end of the day when I'm doing my shipping tends to fluctuate if I'm listing that day or if I'm sourcing that day, whatever it is. But I always start the day with offers and water and coffee and walking Leo. And then at the end of the night, I normally just finish sending offers, doing my shipping, and then I'll go to bed. And that's it. Start everything the next day. I keep working basically until I go to sleep. And then I eat my breakfast or lunch at 3 and then dinner around 7. Do you ever think of getting another job? No, but I mean, I've thought about it, but I don't think I would ever stop doing this. I was using reselling as a tool to jump from one thing to another, and I feel like, a part of me had to give up what I was working on to be able to do this, and that's 100% true. I do miss working with other people, and I know that once this grows, I'll be able to hire people, but it's different when you're working on this project or having a collective energy working towards a main goal. I don't know, I just kind of miss that. So sometimes I've thought about what if I were to get a job and I could just hire someone to do the bulk of this, but I don't know if I'll ever actually pull the trigger on that. I don't think I would. It's something I've thought about though, I like to think about all situations. How many active listings do you have? Oh, I don't know if I can look it up on let me see. I have 750-ish now. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up here. But I have 750 now. I'm still working towards 1,000 listings. Do you have a set routine every week, or does it vary wildly? I pretty much have a set routine. I'll go sourcing Monday or Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. There's no Salvation Army over here, so my schedule before I moved and my schedule now is very different. I do sourcing early in the week, and then midweek to the end of the week I'm taking photos, listing, doing YouTube stuff and life stuff. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same, but the day-to-day might change a little bit depending on what I have going on. How has your business changed since moving? That's also a good question. Number one, sourcing. Sourcing has been the biggest issue for me because I knew it would be different when I moved. I knew sourcing here would be way different than what I was used to because I was right next to New York City, literally across the water. I went from having a river and a train ride stopping me from getting into the city to being in a city but with far less high quality items. So what I have to do now is I have to go to multiple locations and spend less time at each location to be able to get the quantity that I need and the quality that I need and that I want. So that's the hard part. I have to travel a lot further to be able to get what I want now, as opposed to before I could just go into 1 or 2 stores and spend, $200 easily, and it was just because of where I was. Also, the prices are higher there. So the other thing too, I think initially was just adjusting to finding new spaces and finding the honey holes. I still don't know so much about what's out here, and it's already November and I've been here since August. And so I know that there's a lot that I'm probably missing out on, but you don't know what you don't know. So yeah, sourcing has been the biggest change for me. And that was a car driving by, if you heard that music. Best advice you have to start selling on Posh. These are all really good questions. Okay, number one piece of advice. Work on the 30-minute method. Work towards becoming a Posh ambassador. Everything that you have to do to become a Posh ambassador is what you have to do to start selling. So sharing your own closet, listing items, sharing other people's closets. Those are the primary things. And other tips outside of the 30-minute method. Oh, and the whole point of the 30-minute method is that you're doing all of these things within 30 minutes of your day. So it's meant to be a way to help someone who's just doing this as a hobby or doing this part-time to be able to like get started. Also, when you're taking photos, make sure that they're very clear, be descriptive, and use as much information in your title as possible. I feel like I could go on really long about how to start selling on Poshmark, but Nicole State just put out a video, like a collab video of a bunch of people who put out like their best tips. So if I can find a way to put a card up or like link it, I will. And I think that has a lot of good information in it. What's your number one tip for listing efficiently? Number one tip, have all of the information that you need to list beforehand. So set up a process for yourself, however that might be, and the process should involve researching comps, adding the information to whatever spreadsheet or whatever system you have, taking the photos, any edits that you want to make. All of that should be done before you actually need to list, and I would batch work the whole thing. So that's my number one tip. I think that's what gets me to put up 30 or 40 or 50 listings in a day, is that I can just have everything ready beforehand, and then I'm just kind of copy and pasting that information and just uploading the images into the listing so that I can list as much as possible at a time. How long have you been reselling? How did you get into it? I kind of answered this already, so I'm just gonna skip this. Okay. How long did it take for you to make sales every day? How did you do that? This is a good segue, because I was just talking about the 30-minute method, and I pretty much did that. I started having daily sales probably like as soon as I started. If I were to like look it up, I could figure it out. But I started selling in June, and I was having daily sales almost immediately. I would say like a couple of weeks, but I was also like putting all my free time, like no BS, just committing 100% of my free time and working on reselling when I wasn't at work. So yeah. Favorite and least favorite aspect of reselling in general and being full-time. Okay, so in general, my favorite thing is the ability to, well, I guess these are like fave and least fave for both. I don't know if it would just apply in general, but my least favorite thing is not working with people. I really love being able to like connect with people, and I don't really get a chance to do that now, unless it's on Instagram. But my favorite thing would be building a business that I can see a future with. Like, I feel a sense of purpose in doing what I'm doing, so I really enjoy feeling like I'm creating something and using, like my own creative ability to build something of my own that I can make into whatever I want. I'm in full control, and I love that. I guess I don't know if I have any other least fave. Oh, I also really don't like sharing on Poshmark. Not a question, but you should do a day in the life of a reseller YouTube. I do have one, but maybe I should do another one. If you think I should do another one, you can let me know down in the comments. How is your challenge going? What have you learned about yourself doing it thus far? I've been thinking a lot about this. The 1,000 listings challenge is what this question is about, and I have it somewhere. Oh, but my foot just fell asleep. Okay, I can't actually get up and get it. I'll show you my progress, but I've been listing about 20 items a day. There have definitely been a couple of days I've missed. So part of what I've learned about myself is that I take too long in researching comps. So I've had to cut back and scale back on that end of things. And like the pricing part of it, that was sort of a bottleneck for me. And so that's been great because I've been able to like work on that. The main issue is that you have to work fast, manage your cash flow because I'm sourcing way more. I'm saying you, like you're doing this, unless you're doing it with me, but those are the biggest problems that they're not problems, but those are the biggest things that I'm having to deal with right now, is like managing cash flow as I'm sourcing way more than I normally would, but also having the trouble finding the the amount that I need to find to be able to hit 1,000 listings is hard. And then the other thing is speed. So doing it all in a timely manner is also very hard, which I've just had to manage myself a little bit more, with a little bit more of an iron fist. So like I haven't really been on Instagram, and I have to really be like disciplined to get the things done that I need to be able to reach the benchmarks I need to be able to get to 1,000 listings before January 1st. So yeah, it kind of just has forced me to like zone in. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on about this, so I'm gonna do the next one. Okay, I'm a little confused. How often do you edit list versus just share your closet? If you mean edit next list, I don't do that. If you mean just sharing my closet, right now I actually have 2 people sharing my closet 4 times a day. Regularly it's like between 3 and 5. Let's just stay there. Yeah, about 3 and 5. But sometimes I don't have a second person sharing for me, and I'll just do one, and sometimes I'll just get it shared 1 time a day. Just depends. Favorite find ever when sourcing? Ooh. This Isabel Marant black dress. I sold it for way under what I should have sold it for, but it was really pretty. It was like this embroidered smocked, like with ruffles, really beautiful. If I can find a of course I have a picture, I already sold it. I'll put a picture up somewhere here because I just thought it was really cute, and it was like very much in season now, but I don't know if you can even hear that, but Leo is snoring so much right now. Anyway, yeah, that was definitely my favorite. I got it for a really great deal, so yeah, I wish I would have sold it for more. Okay. This one says hair care routine, ? If I had a legitimate routine, I would totally share it, but I'm like the routineless hair care person. Okay, but no, really, I very recently started doing the oil distribution, so I'll just brush my hair and I don't use shampoo and conditioner. I actually tried to use shampoo and conditioner the other day and it made my hair like crazy greasy, so I'm still recovering. But yeah, if you Google that, that'll help. It definitely has brought a lot of life back into my hair. Yeah, I don't know. Just avoiding heat and drinking lots of water and collagen, and that's it. What moment gave such an impression it changed you, view, perspective, etc.? I could name a lot, but mostly the biggest things that have changed me, or like changed a view of mine, or like gave me a new perspective, are people. So people that I've met, or like mentors that I've had. Those are the main, that's what comes to mind first, is like people. One of the biggest, I think, was probably meeting my boyfriend, because he had very different life experience from me. I met him when we were in school. He has always been very entrepreneurial, and he's also a few years older than me, so he lived a whole life before me. I say a whole life, but it's like 6 years difference. Anyway, yeah, he's definitely one of the people. Fave brand to pick up for a fast flip. Probably Lululemon for fast flips, but I don't find a ton of it anymore. Okay, we're getting to the bottom here. How many listings do you aim to keep active at a time? And are you trying to increase or maintain? I also think I kind of already talked about this, but before trying to get to 1,000 listings, or 1,000 active listings, which I'm trying to do now, so I'm trying to increase my active listings. Before that, I try to keep it around 500 or 600. That's kind of like where I was at for most of the year. Okay, let's see. Ooh, this one's really fun. Pancakes or waffles? Pancakes, 110%. How do you stay motivated? I feel like my answer is gonna be so unrelatable, but bills, number one, and I just keep working. Like, I always keep what I want in the future in mind, and that's always like at the forefront of when I'm working. I'm always thinking like, Just keep doing it, Michelle. Like I'm like coaching myself on the inside. I just think about the future, really. That's what keeps me motivated, is what this can grow into and what this can become for my children and my family and what this would mean for me. The possibility is what keeps me motivated. But it also really, really helps to have someone who supports you and have someone to lean on when you're feeling doubtful. I don't know if that's a satisfying answer, but that's the truth. So, oh, this is the last question, and it's maybe my favorite because it's, are you getting Leo a playmate? I would love to get Leo a playmate, and I was just talking to a stranger on the street about this. Like, I kind of want to get a cat. I would really love to get more dogs, but I would also have to like notify my landlord because I live in an apartment that I'm renting, and pay probably another like deposit or whatever. Anyway, yeah, Leo's definitely gonna have some siblings and friends in the future, but right now, for a while, he's gonna be solo. But I would love to. Oh my god, I would love to have an English bulldog. Those dogs are the cutest. I also really like, well, let me not even go there because I really like all the dogs and all the cats and all the animals. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Ring the bell for notifications, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. He's under my desk now. Oh, you sleepy? I know.